Okay, so let's start the session. So, hello guys, welcome all of you to the week 5 problem solving session for the course Introduction to Semiconductor Devices. I am Soham Lakote. I am currently doing my PhD at IIC Bangalore. I am currently a third year student, and my research area is in the analog and RF circuit design, especially for radars, which are used for vital signs monitoring. So we will solve few conceptual questions which will not involve some lengthy calculations first, and as we progress ahead in this session, we will start solving heavy numericals. So now the first question is: the sketch below shows the carrier concentration in a PN junction at a room temperature. So the first question that they have asked is: the diode forward biased or reverse biased? So guys, please unmute yourself and first tell me whether this diode is biased at all, or it is not biased, whether it is at equilibrium or it has been given some bias, and how can we find whether some bias has been applied across the diode by using the figure which is shown in the slide. So can anyone of you please give me any hints? Carrier concentration profile has been given to us. So just by looking at the carrier concentration, how can we actually determine whether the diode is biased or whether it is forward or reverse biased, or it is not at all biased at all?
It is biased
It is biased, right? So very good. So how did you determine it?
due to the gradient profile, sir. How it is the
Okay. Gradient profile where exactly? In the depletion region or after the depletion region you are talking about?
in the depletion region, sir.
Okay, so you are saying कि when the diode is not biased, so are you saying कि the gradient profile will not exist over there?
Sorry, sir. It is not actually. It is the low level minority carrier injection.
Yeah, correct. Correct. Low level minority carrier injection is there. So how did you determine how are you determining whether this is biased or not? Yeah, you're going in the right path. Just move it, John.
No idea, sir.
Okay, I will give you some hint. Just look at these 2 points and then tell me. Just tell me which of these points is the equilibrium carrier concentration. Which of these 2 points represents the equilibrium carrier concentration far away from the depletion region?
Sir, can you name it, sir? Little bit A B.
Okay, yeah, A and B, yeah, correct.
Sir, it is B.
B, correct. So now I will just draw one profile now. So let's say a PN junction was here. I didn't apply any bias to it, correct? So some depletion region existed in this region. Now the whole concentration went something like this, correct? And the electron concentration went something like this, correct? And this was my depletion region, correct? Okay, this is not correct. So this was my depletion region, correct? Now just after the depletion region, I have actually reached this point where my carrier concentration, the minority carrier concentration, is exactly equal to the equilibrium carrier concentration that is present at the N side, correct? But here this is not the case. So the holes which we have on the P side, first they started diffusing into the N side region. They became the minority carriers at point A, and the minority carrier concentration at point A is not equal to the carrier concentration at point B, correct? So now there is a sharp difference between the minority carrier concentration at the edge of the depletion region and the carrier concentration that is present far away from the depletion region, correct? So this is the reason why you can say that the diode is actually biased. Now since I have given you guys a hint, now just tell me whether this is a forward bias or this is a reverse bias, and how will you determine it? Just go ahead on the path on the hint that I had given to you.
Forward bias.
Forward bias, correct. How can you tell all of us, like, how are you approaching the question?
By finding VA, we can see it is forward biased.
By finding.
VA, applied voltage.
Okay, how are you going to find it? Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So using the formula of NP is equal to that formula and from P and out formula. So by using these two formula, we can find VA.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. So what he's saying, so both of you are going in the correct direction. So what both of them suggested to me is like the minority carrier concentration, that is the what you can say, not NP, sorry, the holes which are now diffusing into the N region and which are present at the edge of the depletion region. Correct. Edge of the depletion region is plus Xn. Correct. Now this is equal to what? Pn naught, that is the whole concentration far at the equilibrium, that is far away from the depletion region, into exponential of QVA by KT. So both of these guys were suggesting me to use this equation. Now what they are suggesting, since this Pn of plus Xn, what is its value? You can clearly see at point A, correct? It's given as what? So you can see it's higher, correct? So this concentration is higher concentration, let's say concentration at A, and let's say this is concentration at point B, correct? So since this is greater than this can only happen when I have applied a positive VA, correct? Since I have applied a positive VA, that clearly means that the diode is not in a reverse bias, but this diode is actually in a forward bias, correct? So what those two guys were suggesting to me, so their approach was absolutely correct. Now coming to the second part, do low level injection conditions apply? Correct. So now how are we going to determine it actually? So what we do, okay, the holes which have started diffusing from P region into the N region, so their concentration at the edge of the depletion region, I have to compare it with the majority of the carriers that are present on the N side. I will repeat again. So there are majority carriers. Who are the majority carriers over here? These are what you can say electrons present at the N side, correct? So the minority carrier concentration at the edge of this depletion region, that is at point A, I have to compare it with what you can say the N naught that I have written. So if I compare this and if I found that the minority carriers which have been injected from left to right side, correct, because the holes are minority carriers for the inside region, correct, so their concentration, if it is very less than this Nn naught, correct, at least 100 times or something less, correct, then I can say that the conditions for the low level injections will still prevail, correct. So now Pxn is one quantity and N naught is another quantity, correct. So now let me check the value of Nn naught. So what is the value of Nn naught that they have given? It's around, I guess, 10 to the power, let me see, it's around it's around, I guess, 10 to the power 9, correct? 10 to the power 9 cm to the power minus 3, correct? 10 to the power 9 cm to the power minus 3, correct? And let me check the whole concentration. So it started from 10 to the power 16, then it came down and we have reached over here, correct? So it's around 10 to the power 12, correct? So this P of at x equal to n is around 10 to the power 12, correct? So what do you guys think, whether this is a low level injection or not? What do you guys think? Hello.
So are you asking, is it low level injection because
Yeah,
of
is it low level injection or it is not a low level injection?
it is a low level injection
Yeah, how did you determine it?
because the minority carriers are higher.
Okay, minority carriers are higher as compared to what?
The majority carriers.
So is it a low level injection?
No. I'm not sure, sir.
Just think about it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What about other guys?
So please repeat the question.
Yeah, so is it a low level injection condition or not? So when do we say the low level injection condition exists? So if we look at the minority carrier injection that has been there from P side to N side, correct? So the whole concentration was around 10 to the power 16 at P side. So it reduced down to what you can say 10 to the power 12 at the edge of this depletion region, correct? So these are the number of minority carriers that I am actually injecting in the N side, correct? So what I have to compare is whether this is a condition for low level injection or not. How do we compare the low level injection? We first check the minority carrier concentration at the edge of the depletion region. If that minority carrier concentration at the edge of the depletion region is less than the majority carrier concentration on this N side, then we say that the condition for low level injection prevails, correct? So we just have to compare these two terms, P of Xn and N of N naught, correct? Now what is the value of N of N naught? See, the N side is the concentration of electron has been given over here. So what is the value? 10 to the power 14, correct? So what I had written, this is 10 to the power 9. I just wrote you to confuse you guys, but it was 10 to the power 14 actually. Now tell me, P of Xn is 10 to the power 12, N of N naught is 10 to the power 14. So our minority carrier that I have injected from the P side, are they much higher as compared to the majority carrier concentration?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why? Okay, I will write two statements. Just tell me which of this is correct. P of Xn much greater than N of N naught, or P of Xn less than N of N naught. First of all, tell me out of these two statements, which is the condition for the low level injection? Which one is the condition for low level injection? See, do not fear, guys. It's okay. If you have any doubts, then ask me. I will clear the concept again. If you guys still have option one is the
condition for low level injection.
Think again.
Sir, option B, sir.
Yeah, correct. Option B is the condition, because these are the majority carrier concentration, right? This is the majority carrier, and these are the minority carriers that I am injecting. So the minority carrier number should not be so high that they are even overwhelming the majority carriers that I had on that N side because of the doping. This should not happen, right? Or else we cannot use that minority carrier, that diffusion if differential equation was there. Now that will become invalid if you have a high level injection. So the condition was that, yeah, so this was the condition. The statement number 2 is the correct, and this tells us that what you can say now, since statement 2 is correct, now let's see whether this condition is satisfying or not. N naught value is around what, 10 to the power 14. If you just guys have doubt, then just look at this value again. This is 10 to the power 14, okay? So this is 10 to the power 14, and what is the value of P of Xn? P of Xn is the value at point A, which is 10 to the power 12. So this is 10 to the power 12, correct? So this condition is remaining correct. So this is a low level injection. This is not a condition for the high level injection, right? So all the formulas that has been derived from that what you can say, the partial differential equation for that carrier diffusion, all of those formulas will be valid, and we can use those formulas for solving any numericals if we have any further numericals on this question. So yeah, the low level injection condition will prevail. And the third question is, what bias is applied to the diode? So as someone had told me to use the formula. So okay, I will use a different formula now just to help you guys. NP naught exponential to the power Q VA by KT. So what I have done, this was written for the minority carriers that have been injected from P to N side, right? Now this is for the minority carriers, that is the electrons that have been injected from N side to P side, correct? So now let's look at the value of N of P, NP at minus XP. At minus XP, this is my electron concentration. The value is what? 10 to the power 10, correct? So here it is 10 to the power 10. Now what is the value of NP naught? Now I have to see the value of NP naught, correct? So what is the value of NP naught that you can see over here? So these are the electron concentration. They are decreasing again, and they became constant, correct? So this is 10 to the power 7, correct? Now I will just put it 10 to the power 7 over here into exponential to the power VA. KT by Q is what? The temperature is room temperature, so it's 0.0259, correct? So if you solve this, then you will get the value of VA as 0.1789 volts, correct? Guys, if you have any doubt, then please ask, because this is a basic question. I don't want your basics to remain poor. If you have any doubts, then please ask, or else I will move to the next question. Do you have any question? Do you have any doubts? Is that low level carrier injection concept clear, or should I explain it again?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, correct, right? Okay, cool.
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Sir, can you repeat that?
Which part?
Low level injection.
Low level injection. Okay. See, for low level injection, what you actually determine. See, the injection is happening from P side. What are being injected? Holes are being injected, correct? From where? Holes are being injected. Of course, they will be injected from where their concentration is very high. Where is the concentration of the holes very high? On the P side.
P-type.
P side, correct? Very good.
Yes.
Now from the P side, the holes will start diffusing from here. And why they are diffusing? Because there exists a concentration gradient, because the concentration of holes is less on the inside, correct? So they will start diffusing. Their concentration will keep on decreasing until we reach this point number A, correct? What is this point number A? This point number A is as if we are injecting some fresh carriers from point A into the N side. So why the carrier injection has been named? Because you must be remembering this question when we used to shine the light on the semiconductors, correct? And there used to be generation of minority carriers at this point, and they used to decay exponentially, correct? You remember this concept?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now this is the same case, that you have this many number of minority carriers that are present at point A, and they are being injected, correct? Now what is the low level injection? That is the concentration of your minority carriers, correct? It should be much less than what you can say the equilibrium
Major.
carrier concentration of what? Majority carriers, correct? Some noise is coming from anyone's side. I guess someone is sitting in the car.
Yes, sir. On my.
Yeah. So this is the condition for what you can say the minority, what you can say the low level carrier injection. The minority carrier should not be so high in the number that they are even overwhelming the number of majority carriers that are present. Is it clear, or it is still unclear?
Clear, sir.
Okay, yeah. So this is the condition that I have used. Now concentration of minority carriers. So concentration of minority carriers. Who are the minority carriers on the N side? They are the holes, correct? So that's why I write P over here. Now on what side these carriers have been injected? On N side these carriers have been injected, right? And where am I checking their concentration? At the edge of the depletion region. Where is the edge of the depletion region? At Xn, correct? And this should be much less than equilibrium carrier concentration of majority carriers. So who are the majority carriers on the N side? They are the electrons. They are the electrons, correct? And they are present at the N side. So that's why I have written N, that is the concentration of electrons who are majority carriers, who are present at the N side, and that too at equilibrium, that means you can say far away from the depletion region, basically where there does not exist the field. So this is the condition that I have applied, and the same condition has been used to solve the question. I hope this was clear. So now we will move to the next question. So again I will need a help from you guys. So this problem concerns the energy band diagram shown below for a diode under the bias, correct? So now again you guys please help me whether this diode is biased at all, whether this diode is forward biased or whether this diode is reverse biased. See, I just need an approach, I don't need a direct answer. If any one of you can help, then it will be helpful. First of all, tell me how do you check whether the diode is in equilibrium or not? How do you check whether there is any current or whether there is any photogeneration that is happening? How do you check any semiconductor or any PN junction to whether that is present in equilibrium or not?
Fermi level. If there is an
Exactly, correct, exactly. So are you seeing the Fermi level as constant, or Fermi level is divided in two parts?
Divided.
Two parts
Divide.
divided.
Correct. Yeah. So the semiconductor is not in the equilibrium. Correct. So that means semiconductor is definitely under some bias. Correct.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Now, can you tell me how are we going to determine whether this is a forward bias or this is a reverse bias? Any idea?
Forward bias.
Forward bias. Okay. How did you get that?
So this applied voltage is lesser than the that deflection.
Sorry.
That energy band EG
Uh-huh.
is less than the applied voltage.
EC is less than applied voltage.
The
EC
barrier width, sir. It's a
Okay,
diffuse.
okay, got it. Okay, so she is talking about these two things.
The building potential, sir.
Yeah, exactly, correct.
Yeah.
So this was the VA, correct? This was the what I had applied because if you look at the PN junction, correct, and if you look like yeah, correct. So let's say this was my EF, correct, and again this was the EF, this was what EB, this was the EC, correct. So this can only happen if I push my one side. So let's say this is a RHS and this is the LHS. So the simple hint is how are you going to push the RHS or LHS such that this width is going to decrease. And the first of all, if you increase if you push the right hand side with respect to left hand side, then the EF on the left hand side, let's say LHS, and EF on the RHS, right? So it will become like this, and this value that someone just pointed out, that is what VBI minus VA, correct? So now this will start decreasing, correct? So you just have to look how are you going to push it. So what we have done over here is that we have applied the forward bias. Because of applying the forward bias over here, the so let's say first let's mark out the regions. So this is the P side and this is the N side, correct? So what we have done is that we have pushed the N side on the upper side, and you can think of it like you have pushed the P on the downward side, correct? So because of this, what happened, as someone said, this barrier that was present, it decreased, and the Fermi level difference is clearly visible. That is the what you can say, the quasi Fermi levels, correct? So the diode is definitely in the forward bias condition. And now what we are going to do is that we have to find what is the value over here, correct? As we have said, this 1 minus 0.5, correct? This represents the what you can say, the applied voltage that I had applied, correct? So the applied bias is 1 minus 0.5, which is what, 0.5 volts, correct? And what is the built-in potential over here? So as we have as someone had said, this is Q times VBI minus VA, correct? So what is this value? So this value is what, 1.25 electron volts, correct? So 1.5 minus 1.25 electron volts, this should be equal to what, VBI minus VA, correct? But I already know the value of VA, correct? So this is 0.5, so this is 0.25 plus the value of VA which we have found, that is 0.5, this is equal to VBI, correct? So this will come out to be what, 0.75 volts, correct? So I hope this question was clear. If you guys have any doubts, then please ask me. So now we will move to this question. Again, this was sir must have clearly taught this because this was there in the lecture materials. And P plus N diode is subjected to a varying temperatures, and the corresponding IV characteristics is plotted in figure number 3. So based on the given data, answer the following question. So just note that the TB is on the right hand side compared to TL. Okay. So in the forward bias, a change in the temperature results in shift in the threshold voltage, correct? So choose the correct temperature dependence of the IV characteristics along with the reason. So what happens as temperature increases, right? As your temperature increases, the energy of carriers, even it will increase, correct? So they will find it less challenging to cross the potential barrier, correct? And since they found it less what you can say, less difficult to cross the potential barrier, so our VT should reduce, correct? So let's see which option matches. So temperature increases, correct, then the energy of the carrier increases, correct, temperature increases, energy of the carrier increases, correct. So these are the two options and our Vt should reduce, correct. So hence our Vt should reduce, correct. So this is the correct option. And coming to, just remember this Td is below the Tc, correct. Now coming to the second question, in the reverse bias, change in temperature results in a shift in the reverse saturation current Js, correct. So choose the correct temperature dependence of the reverse saturation current along with the reason, correct. So what is this? So this is the Js formula that has been taken from the lecture notes. So what is this Pn naught? That is the whole concentration on the N side. So this is the minority carrier concentration. Again, this is the minority carrier concentration, correct. So if I write it in terms of the majority carrier concentration, it will be looking like, what you can say, Ni square upon what? Nn naught, correct, plus E dn upon Ln, and this will be nothing but Ni square upon what? Pp naught, correct. See, I am at the away from the depletion region, right? So I can easily apply the law of mass action, correct. So now what is going to happen is that the Js is directly proportional to Ni square, correct. And since Ni has the temperature dependence, correct, even the Js is going to change with the temperature. So let's see what is the correct option. Js is directly proportional to Ni square, correct. And as temperature increases, what is going to happen? Our Ni is also going to increase, correct, because this Ni has two things, root of Nc and V is there. This will be proportional to what? T to the power cube, and there is also an exponential of minus Eg by 2 kt, correct. And as we have seen in the previous week's lecture, you can clearly see that the Ni increases with the temperature, and if Ni increases with the temperature, even my Js, which is proportional to Ni square, even that is going to increase with the temperature, correct. So this is the correct option. As the temperature increases, Ni increases, and Js is directly proportional to Ni square, correct. So I hope this was the question, as this was a very easy question. Again, this is a very easy question that had came in the GATE 2019. In an ideal PN junction with an ideality factor of 1, I will let you know what is this ideality factor. At T equal to 300 K, the magnitude of the reverse bias voltage required to reach 75% of its reverse saturation current. So first of all, let's write the current formula, correct. What is it? Exponential of QVA upon NKT minus 1. So the ideality factor about which they are talking about, it is this value of N over here. So this has been given as 1, okay. So the magnitude of the reverse voltage required to reach 75% of its saturation current. So they are asking what voltage should I apply across the diode so that this I becomes 0.75 of Is, correct. So this is what I have to solve, QVA by KT minus 1, correct. So this IS is over, so this 0.75 plus 1, correct. Now this is what exponential of this VA, and KT by Q is 0.0259 because it has been given in the question over here, correct. So now if you just solve this, then the value of VA will come out to be around what you can say 14.49 millivolts, correct. And how are you going to check whether this answer is whether it's correct or not? Because see, it is just a sanity check. The voltage that you are supposed to apply to reach 75% of its reverse saturation current, right? Reverse saturation current is already low, and we are saying that we just want to reach the 75% of that current. So obviously, until and unless I cross the VBI, I won't be getting a significant current, correct. So what is the value of general VBI? So it will be around some 0.6, 0.7 volts or something, correct. So it seems that the value of applied voltage that I have to apply is much less than VBI, and it is correct because I just have to reach the 75% of the reverse saturation current, right? So this is how you can do the sanity check and just check whether your answer is making any sense or not, correct. So now we will move on to the next question. This is based on the slope concept of that 1 upon C square versus V graph. So what they have asked, determine the impurity doping concentrations in a P plus N junction. So P is a heavily doped site given the parameters in figure. So what they have asked, so what they have given, assume that the intercept and the slope of the curve in this figure, VBI is given to us, it's around 0.725 volts, and the slope is also given to us 6.15 to 10 to the power 15. And what we have been asked, calculate NA and ND. Correct. So this again I have taken this formula from the lecture slides. Correct. So they have given us the slope. Correct. So let's use this formula. So what is the slope? 6.15 into 10 to the power 15. Correct. And what we have to find? We have to find NA and ND. So by using this formula for slope, we are going to find ND. Correct. So it is what, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. What is the dielectric constant? It's 11.7. Correct. And into I have to also multiply the free space formula. The epsilon naught, free space permittivity, 10 to the power 14 into ND. Correct. So if you solve this, then you will get the value of ND as 1.9629 into 10 to the power 15 cm to the power minus 3. Correct. Now can you guys please tell me, I have already found the value of ND. How am I going to find the value of NA over here? What can I use, and what has been given to me, which I have not used till now?
VBI.
Yeah, exactly, correct. So what is the VBI? What is the VBI formula? VBI is what? KT by Q.
So KT by Q ln Na plus ND upon NND whole square.
Yeah, correct. NND upon Ni square, correct. Now let's do the sanity check. What VBI has been given to me? KT by Q I know. ND I have just found. Ni square I know. I can find the Na, correct. So let's move to the next slide. So what is the value of VBI? It was given as 0.725, correct. The KT by Q is obviously, we know all this value, and the ln of what one I have just found out one concentration, that is ND, as 1.9629 into 10 to the power 15. I am yet to find out Na, and what is the Ni square? 2.25 into 10 to the power 20. Correct. So if you adjust and take the exponentials on both the sides, this ln will be getting cancelled. So if you just solve this, then you will be getting the value of Na to be around 1.645. Oh, what happened? Okay, 1.645 into 10 to the power 17 cm to the power minus 3. Correct. So I hope this was clear to you. It was again an easy question. Now this is a little bit of a tricky question. This problem concerns a SI isotype junction. So what is this isotype junction? You guys have heard about PN junction, P plus N junction, N plus P junction. But what if I create a junction which is N plus N or P plus P? Correct. So these are called isotype junctions. See, this N plus is not very heavy, that this N is looking like a metal. It is not a metal semiconductor junction. It is a contact of two N-type doped or two P-type doped semiconductors having different concentration. Correct. So this is what we call as a isotype junction. So at room temperature with the doping profile as shown below, answer the following questions assuming the room temperature silicon. Note that the doping is N-type on both the sides of the junction. Correct. So now what they have asked, draw an energy band diagram for this junction. Correct. So let me do one thing. I will just draw a initial thing, and I will take help from you guys. Okay. So this is EC. This is EV. Again, this is, what is happening here? Yeah. This is EC. This is EV. Now the left side is lightly doped compared to the right side. So the right side's Fermi level should be closer to EC. Correct. So this is what I am doing. So let's say this is the EF on the right hand side, and this was the EF on left hand side. So this was what EI, and again this was what your EI. Correct. See, I have not applied any bias across this, right? So what should happen now? Now I want help from you guys. How should I combine these two energy band diagrams? What I have done, this is the diagram for ND and this is the diagram for ND plus. Now I have to combine these two energy band diagrams so that I can get the energy band diagram of the combined junction. So can you guys please help me? What should I do? How should I proceed? The Fermi levels are not at same level. So first of all, what should I do?
So take a constant Fermi level.
Yeah, the Fermi level should be constant everywhere. Correct.
Everywhere. Take a constant Fermi level. Then
Correct.
according to the draw, sir, EC and EV, sir.
Correct. Now, yeah, thank you for the procedure. So what we have to do, we have to bring these Fermi levels at a same level, correct? So again, I am considering this as a this is as a LHS and this is as a RHS, correct? So how should I bring the Fermi levels? LHS has to go up, correct, and RHS has to come down, so that the Fermi levels will align with respect to each other, correct? So if you just do this, then you are going to get something like this. Correct, and then I will be again having this, correct, and after that I will be again having the EI. Let's say this is EC, let's say this is EV, and I will be again having a EI. This is EI, correct. Now let's check whether this is correct or not. So on the right hand side, my EF is still closer to EC as compared to the left hand side, correct. So that means the concentration of electrons on the right hand side is higher. So this is meeting one condition. Let's check the Fermi position with respect to EI. So EF is above EI on both the sides, on LHS as well as on the RHS, correct. So this tells me that the material is N type everywhere. It is just that on the right hand side I just have more number of electrons, correct. So it is more N type. So both these conditions are meeting. If this EI and EF had crossed each other, then that means somewhere I would have got P type material, and that would have made my energy band diagram incorrect, correct. So this is how the band diagram is going to look like. And what is going to be this difference? This is going to be QVBI, correct. Now what they have asked, so this is our energy band diagram, and first of all what they have asked in the second question is the left contact more or less positive in potential than the right contact, correct. So can you guys help me? Can you guys give me any hint, like how should I solve this question? How can I determine the potential by just looking at the energy band diagram? I will just write few equations to help you guys. This E field is nothing but 1 by Q d EC by dx, and the potential is nothing but negative integral of E dx. Now tell me guys, how should I solve this question? The 3B. What is the slope of EC? The slope of EC is positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative, correct. So if the slope of EC is negative, then that means the E field is a negative quantity. The electric field is a negative quantity, correct. So if the electric field is a negative quantity, that means if I integrate this negative quantity, and I already have a negative sign over here, that means what is going to happen, as I integrate the electric field with respect to distance, my potential, let's say I'm starting from x of 0 and let's say I'm reaching x of L, correct. So obviously this is going to be the potential will be existing only here itself. So as I am moving along the direction of the electric field, correct. So what is going to happen is that my potential is becoming more and more positive, because this negative and negative will become positive, correct. So since by moving from left side to right side, my potential is becoming more and more positive. That clearly means that V of XL minus V at x of 0, it is going to be a positive quantity, correct. And since this is going to be a positive quantity, that means the V at x of 0, that is your left hand side, should be smaller as compared to your V of XL, which is your right hand side, correct. So the left contact is less positive with respect to the right contact, correct. So I hope this was clear to you. Now the third question is a little bit it is not tricky. Compute the magnitude of the built-in potential for this junction and compare it to the band gap of the semiconductor. So now how are we going to do this? So see, this is not a typical PN junction, right? So we have to go by the fundamentals to actually calculate the value of the built-in potential. So how are we going to calculate the built-in potential? What you used to do in the PN junction, that you used to add that phi n plus phi p, correct, and you used to make it equal to what you can say VBI, correct. But since EF and EI are not even crossing with respect to each other, correct, so this is the EF minus EI, let's say on ND plus side, and this is what EF minus EI on ND side, that is lightly doped, correct? Since initially I used to add these two levels, this was used to happen because that EF and EI were used to cross with respect to each other, but here they are not even crossing with respect to each other. So the only tricky thing over here is that you cannot add this EF minus EI and EF minus EI on the right hand side. You actually have to subtract these two levels to get this QVBI. This is according to the band bending, that's it. I am not doing anything. I am just saying ki, okay, the amount of band bending that will happen over here will be equal to the EF minus EI difference on the right side and the EF minus EI difference on the left side, correct? So this is how I am going to proceed. I hope if this is clear. If not, then please ask me doubts, because this is very important. So the Q times VBI will be what? EF minus EI on the right hand side, ND plus, minus EF minus EI on the left hand side, correct? That is ND, correct? Now how am I going to find this EF minus EI at ND plus? So you know from the formula that EF minus EI, I can write it as KT ln of what you can say ND by Ni, correct? So the concentration over here is ND plus by Ni, correct? And minus similarly for here KT ln of ND by Ni. This should be equal to Q VBI, correct? So what VBI becomes KT by Q. The two subtractions of the ln I am just going to divide inside. So this will become ln of ND plus by ND. So this is the formula for the built-in potential that we have got for an isotopic junction. So now we will just substitute the values over here, because we have to find the numerical value 0.0259 ln of, let me look at the concentration once again. So the concentration was 10 to the power 18 at right hand side and 10 to the power 15 on at left hand side, correct? So I will just put those value 10 to the power 18 by 10 to the power 15, correct? So the VBI value that will come out, it will be around 0.18 volts, correct? Now I just have a question for you guys. Just tell me whether this value of VBI, that is a built-in potential for isotopic junction, its value is around some 0.18 or you can even assume 0.2 volts, right? So what was the general value of VBI that we used to get for a normal PN junction? Was it so low or was it around some higher range, around 0.6 to 0.7? It was around some 0.6 to 0.7 range, correct? So that means the VBI, the built-in potential for isotopic junction, in most of the cases will be less than the built-in potential for the PN junction case that we had, correct? So this was the difference that I just wanted to tell you guys, and the homework for you guys will be what you can try to do is for this question, so I will just write, draw the charge density profile, electric field profile, and draw the potential profile. So this will be the homework for you guys, and please do the homework till the next session. If you have any doubts, then let me know. So I hope this question was clear. If you have any doubts, then I will be happy to answer. Now we will be moving to a very interesting application for the, what you can say, a PN junction, which can be used to in the oscillator circuits for tuning the frequency of oscillations, correct? So now let's look at the question. This has been taken from the Donald Niemann book. So an abrupt silicon PN junction at 300 Kelvin is uniformly doped with Na acceptor and concentration and the dopant and concentration that have been given. The cross sectional area has also been given, and inductance is placed in parallel with the PN junction. So let me draw the diagram for you guys. So this is what our PN junction is, and inductance is placed in parallel with the PN junction diode, and what has been mentioned with reverse bias voltage. So we are applying some reverse bias voltage over here, correct? And this is what is going to cause our LC, making our LC circuit, correct? So what has been asked, with a reverse bias voltage of VR equal to 10 volts applied to the PN junction, the resonant frequency of the circuit is 1.25 megahertz, correct? So what is the value of inductance? So this is the first question, correct? So how can we approach the question? For any LC circuit, you guys must be knowing that the F resonant will be what? 1 upon 2 pi root of LC, correct? Now what has been asked to find the inductance value, correct? They have given us the F resonance, but we don't know the value of C. So we have to find the value of C, and once we find this value of C, then we can put in this formula, correct? So let's note down this equation number 1. So what is the value of the junction capacitance that we have? Correct. So it's what, epsilon SI by W, which is what, Q times epsilon SI Na ND upon 2 times of what, Na plus ND into VR, that is the bias that I am applying, the reverse bias. Correct. See, this will in the case of the varactor, where we use this PN junction for tuning the oscillations, we generally use it in the reverse bias, because in the reverse bias your what you can say, the depletion width increases, right? So this gives us the tunability. So as my width changes, my junction capacitance is going to change, and if my junction capacitance is going to change, then this C in the equation number 1 is going to change, and if the C changes, then the resonant frequency changes, right? So this is a simple application of the varactor by using the PN junction in the reverse bias for the LC circuit. Correct. So now we also don't know the value of VBI. Correct. So I'm again writing the formula, KT by Q ln of Na ND upon Ni square. Correct. So Na has been given to me. Correct. Na is there. ND has also been given to me, and Ni I also know because it's a silicon at room temperature. Correct. So if you just put these values over here, then the VBI for the silicon will come out to be 0.75428 volts. Correct. So what just happened? Just a minute. Yeah. So this is the value of VBI. Correct. Now what we have to do, we have to substitute this value of VBI in the this equation. So I will note down this equation number 2, and this is what, equation number 3. So let's use the formula for Cj. We will start putting the values. So I'm just taking the square on the left hand side of the equation number 2. Correct. So the square root will be gone now. So I am just substituting the value. So the Q is what, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19. What is the value of epsilon SI? 11.7 into 8.85 into 10 to the power 14. Correct. Now Na and ND have also been given to me. Correct. So their product will come out to be around 10 to the power 33 divided by 2. It is just the addition of what you can say, Na and ND, 5 into 10 to the power 15, and this is what VR. So they have mentioned that this resonant frequency has been found under the reverse bias of 10 volts. Correct. So I will just apply 10 volts over here, and the VB I have just found. Correct. 0.75428. Correct. So if you just solve this, then it will come out to be Cj will be 6.1297 nanofarads. Nano is 10 to the power minus 9. Okay, and this has came at VR equal to 10, and its units are in farad per centimeter square. Correct. So I will just write it as X. Now since in the further questions they have also asked me to use VR equal to 1 and VR equal to 5, it's beneficial to calculate the junction capacitance at these values as well. Correct. So now if you calculate, if you just put this 10, if you substitute this with 1 volt and 5 volts, then you will get the following values. Oh sorry, what happened? Yeah. So now Cj will become 15.1769 nanofarads, and this is at VR equal to 1 volts. Units are farad per centimeter square. Correct. And the Cj will again become equal to 8.3798 nanofarads at what, VR equal to 5 volts, farad per centimeter square. Correct. Now just to have a sanity check whether these answers are correct or not, just note this: as VR is increasing from 1 volt to 5 volt and from 5 volt to 10 volts, my capacitance is decreasing from 15 nanofarad to 8 nanofarad to 6 nanofarads. Correct. This is what should happen, right? Because width will increase if you, depletion region ka width will increase if you increase the reverse bias voltage. Correct. So this is making sense, and this is also satisfying the sanity checks. Now what we will be using is this condition, the equation number X. What we are going to do, we are going to put it in equation number 1. Correct. So what, F resonance has been given to us 1.25 megahertz. So 1.25 into 10 to the power 6 should be equal to what, 1 upon 2 pi under root L into under root C. Correct. So what is the value of C that we have calculated? 6.1297 nanofarads, right, into 10 to the power minus 9, but this is per centimeter square. Correct. This is capacitance per unit area. I have to multiply it with the area, right? I cannot just multiply the capacitance per unit area to just get the inductance value, or else it will even come out to be even, because it will not have the dimensions of the Henry, even that will be having some dimensions of area involved in it. So we have to multiply it with the area, and the area has been given to us as what? The cross sectional area is 8 into 10 to the power minus 4 cm square. Correct? So I am just going to put it 8 into 10 to the power minus 4. Correct? So if you just calculate it, then you will get the value of L as 3.306 millihenry. Correct? So the Henry is the unit of the inductance. Now coming to the next part, they have see, we have calculated the value of inductance. Correct? Using the results of part A, what is the resonant frequency if the reverse bias voltage is in first case it's 1 volt, and in second case it's 5 volts. Correct? So now what we are going to do, we know F resonance is what? 1 upon 2 pi or root of LC. Correct? Now we have already calculated the value of C for what you can say 1 volt and 5 volt. So we are just going to use that values, and inductance we have just calculated. Correct? So F resonant at VR equal to 1 volts will be what? 1 upon 2 pi root of 3.306 into 10 to the power minus 3. And what was the value of C at 1 volts? So the C value was 15.1769. Correct? So into 15.1769 into 10 to the power minus 9, because it was in nanofarads, and I also have to multiply it with the area. Correct? So it was 8 into 10 to the power minus 4. Correct? So now if you just solve this, then the F resonance will come out to be 0.79439 megahertz. Correct? So this was the case. And if you just in the similar way, what is happening here? Yeah. And in the similar case, F resonance at VR equal to 5 volts. If you calculate, I'm not writing the expressions. You just have to substitute this 15.1769. Instead of this, you have to use this value 8.3798. Correct? 8.3798. If you just use this value and repeat the equation, then you will get that at this value your F resonance will be what? 1.069 megahertz. Correct? So now what is actually happening, as I have told you, the capacitance was continuously decreasing as we were increasing the reverse bias voltage. So as we are kept on increasing, the width of the depletion region kept on increasing, which reduced our capacitance value, and because of this our F resonance started to increase. Correct? So let's do the sanity check. F resonance at 1 volts was how much? 0.79 megahertz. F resonance at 5 volts was 1.069 megahertz, and the F resonance they have mentioned, F resonance at 10 volts is 1.25 megahertz. So again our resonance frequency is satisfying the sanity checks, and hence this answer is correct. If you have any doubts in this question, then please let know, because this was an application based question. We will just solve one more question and we will wrap up the session. So what has been mentioned in this question is this was the ECE GATE 2021 question. A silicon PN junction is shown in the figure 5. The doping in the P region is 5 into 10 to the power 16 cm to the power minus 3, and doping in the N region is 10 into 10 to the power 16. So they have given us the built-in voltage and the dielectric constant of the silicon. So what they have asked, the magnitude of the reverse bias voltage that would completely deplete one of the two regions. What does this mean? The completely deplete means the depletion region should extend up to such an extent that either of this P region or N region should completely deplete of free carriers. So so if in a simple words, so if let's say this is P, this is N, so for assuming this N will become completely depleted, so this will be the completely depleted region, and some width will also extend over here. Correct? So this will become my depletion width now, right? The reverse bias voltage that would completely deplete one of the two regions prior to the other. Correct? So I will just write one formula, and I will need help from you guys to solve this question again. 2 epsilon Si by Q, correct? 1 upon Na plus 1 upon Nd times Vr plus Vbi. Now let's see what has been given to us. Na is given to us, Nd is known, epsilon Si is known, the reverse bias voltage we have to calculate. VBI has been given to us, correct? Now we just want to find this value of W. If I get this value of the depletion width, that is the depletion width, then I will be able to know what is the VR that I had applied, correct? So can you guys please help me to calculate the value of this W, and how should I proceed?
So it is 0.4 W.
Think again. You are going in the right direction. Just think again. See, first of all, tell me which region will be completely depleted first. Which region has a smaller width?
N 0.2.
Correct. So N region will start depleting first. Correct. So now Xn. What is this Xn? Xn is the extent of depletion width that is present on the N side. Correct. So this Xn will be nothing but 0.2 micrometers. Correct, which is what 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4, just for the sake of purpose I am writing. So this is the value of Xn. Now how can I find the value of Xp corresponding to this value of Xn? If I know the Xn, then obviously there is going to be some depletion width that will be present on P side also. So can you please help me in calculating the value of Xp? How should I proceed?
1.2 minus 0.2.
1.2 minus, how did you get this? See, 0.2 is on the inside, right? 1.2 is the width of the P region itself. So how are you, what will you get up by subtracting both these terms? See, it's okay. Even if you are giving wrong answer, that's okay. At least you are giving out some logic, giving out some answers. Just go with a little bit logic. That's it. How can I find the value of XP? Our width is nothing but Xn plus Xp. I want to know this Xp. Unless and until I know this, I cannot calculate the width of the depletion region. Anyone else? Just give me any hints. That's okay. Even if you are giving wrong answers, that's okay. I just wanted to have an interaction. I want to have an interactive session. That's it. Guys, any hints? This is the last question. I'm not going to do any more questions now. So we will give our best attempt. That's it. Since this was a gate question, it is very important for you. It will build up your confidence if you are able to solve this question. That's it.
The total width minus the N side.
Total width minus the N side.
Xn.
But I don't know the total width now. The total width is the width of the depletion region. I don't know this. This width I know. See, this is the width of what? This is the width of the entire diode, right? Just think a little bit. It's very easy.
Using the built-in potential, can we get any relationship?
Okay, built-in potential. We know the built-in potential. So okay, what we are going to do with this ln of Na Nd upon Ni square. So if I use this equation, then everything is given to me, right? Na is given, Nd is given, Vbi is also given to me. It is just that the temperature is not given. So what we are going to, we will just be able to find the temperature from this equation, nothing else. I want some equation where this Xp and Xn will be there. That's it. I have given you the biggest hint. Now just think a little bit. What happens in the depletion region? What should I apply? What should I apply? See, this is a gate question. Just think a little bit. It will help you in building the confidence. I can see I can directly solve. I just want from someone of you to give me a hint so that it will boost your confidence as well. And even I will find it very interesting that you are able to solve these questions at such an initial stage.
So what about doping density, sir? You will it.
Yeah, you're going on the right track. Just yeah, go ahead.
What about doping density, sir? Will it be depending upon doping density, right?
Yeah, correct. So how should I relate it? What principle I generally apply? You are on the right track, exactly on the right track. Just tell me. Yeah.
So using any one of the formula equation for
Yeah.
either
Yeah.
for
Which formula?
xn or
Sorry.
xp, either for xn or xp.
Which formula you are talking about?
Any one of the formula equations, sir, with respect to
Yeah. Which formula? Which formula? Just.
Na given to be
Sorry.
Na is given to be either with respect to Na or Nd. Na will be given as accept or so.
Yeah, it's okay. See, I got the hint. So, yeah, you're on the right track. So, what we generally had to do is we just have to apply the charge neutrality equation in the depletion region, correct? So, the Na times Xp will be nothing but Nd times Xn. Is this clear to everyone or no?
Yes,
No,
sir.
yeah, correct. So thanks to that guy who suggested me to use that equation. So Na is what? So the doping in the P region is going to be 5 to 10 to the power 16. Xp I don't know. Nd is given 10 to the power 17. 10 into 10 to the power 16. Correct. So we just write it 10 into 10 to the power 16. And what is the Xn? I told you the Xn will be completely depleted, right? So this will be what 0.2 micrometers. Correct. So this 10 to the power 16 will be gone. This 5 will be 2 over here. So the xp will be what 0.4 micrometers. Correct. So now width of the depletion region is what xp plus xn. So this is what 0.4 plus 0.2. So w will come out to be 0.6 micrometers. So if I just write it in centimeters, then this will 0.6 into 10 to the power minus 4 centimeter. This will be the value of W that I will be using now in this equation number 1. Correct. Put it in equation 1. So 0.6 into 10 to the power minus 4. So what I will do, I will just square on both the sides of the equation number 1 to get the rid of the square root. So this will be nothing but 2 epsilon si by q. So 2 into 12 has been given to me, correct? So 2 into 12 into 8.85, this is the permittivity of the free space, correct? Upon the q will be there. And now I will be having that 1 upon Na plus 1 upon Nd term, right? 5 into 10 to the power 16 plus 1 upon 10 into 10 to the power 16, correct? And this will be multiplied by what? Vr plus Vbi. Vr I don't know because this is what I was supposed to calculate, and Vbi was given as 0.8, correct? So if we just calculate this, then Vr plus 0.8 will be coming out like 2.7118 into 2.7118 into 10 to the power minus 16 divided by 0.3 into 10 to the power minus 16. So it will come out to be what 9.03933. So hence VR will be coming out as 8.239 volts. So this is the value that you will be getting when the N side region will be completely depleted. There will be no free carriers present over there. Okay. So yeah, so this was the last question for the session. I had few more questions, but they were not that tricky. I had to cover most of the important questions that I wanted to cover for the session. Guys, do you have any doubts in any question? Then please ask me.
The previous question, sir. Can you go to the previous question?
Yeah.
In the calculation for CJ, next page,
Where?
I think you have missed 10 to the minus 14.
10 to the power minus 4.
14.
Oh, okay. Which one? This one. Okay, got it. This one. Oh, got it. Sorry for that mistake. Yeah.
So actually it's coming to be 1.32, sir. CJ.
Which one?
CJ is coming to be 1 nanofarad.
Which equation? X, Y, Z?
X.
X. H is coming out to be 1 point.
1 second, I will check again.
Yeah. Oh, just a minute. Let me just see if I have put everything correctly or not. Cj square, okay, q I have put it correctly, epsilon si I have inserted correctly. Na nd ka NAND's product is what, 10 to the power 33 correct, even that is correct. So the 2 will be correct, the Na plus Nd is written correctly, and Vr plus Vbi, yeah, Vbi we have calculated correctly. Okay, I will just let you know, let me do the calculation on my calci. Okay.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir, it's correct, sir. 6.13.
It's correct, na?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, sure. Guys, any more doubts? Any conceptual doubts regarding the questions that we have covered, or any where you didn't understood the concept or the way we solved?
So one concept I didn't understand.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
It is with respect to lecture, SARS lecture. What is
Sorry?
it? It is with respect to SARS lecture.
Okay.
So what if it is during if the junction, if you didn't apply zero during the zero bias,
Uh,
or either in zero bias or forward bias, why it's not recombination is taking place? Why it is not recombination is taking place when we have excess minority carriers?
why the recombination is not taking place? Recombination is there in the depletion region. It will happen in the derivations of the equations. We have assumed that there is no generation and the recombination that happens in the depletion region, correct? But if you look, then what is happening is any carriers that will be generated in the depletion region, there is, since there is a field, right? So what is going to happen because of that is they are going to swept away by the electric field. Your question was not about that. Your question was about, I guess, why the generation, why?
During minority carrier diffusion part,
Huh?
in minority carrier diffusion part, the in n type electrons are majority and holes are minority, right? So when we apply bias, why it's not recombination? It's not taking place. It's from there. It's
Some recombination.
taking place in the till bulk of the semiconductor.
Till the bulk of the, some recombination will be there. No, electrons from the left side and right side are combining, right? So obviously some recombination will be there in between.
But according to Ligby or not, sir, structure, I have listened to it. In the assumption, he said to be, we assume recombination is not taking place in the junction.
Yeah, it is not taking place. Yeah, correct. We have assumed like that. Okay, let me think about it. Let me frame it properly.
They will recombine and decay with respect to position. That's okay, sir. But
I will get back to you. I will get back to you in the next session. I'm just, I'm a little bit confused now. I will get back to you. I just don't want to give any wrong answers right now.
Can you repeat the question or what is the doubt actually?
Yeah, so what he's saying is, this is P and N, right? So when the holes start diffusing over here and electrons start diffusing over here, So he is asking while deriving the equations for the current and all the equations, we have assumed that in this W region, okay, there is in W region there is no recombination that is happening. So he is asking.
It is an assumption, sir. Actually, it is taken for the mathematical derivation.
Yeah, he's counteracting that. He is telling me like why this assumption is making sense, since lot of electrons are started flowing on the right hand side. Sorry, on the right hand side, lot of holes are started flowing, and lot of electrons are started flowing in the left hand side, right? Since so many electrons and holes are seeing each other, why the recombination is not happening up to that extent, and is it good enough to have that kind of assumption when so many electrons and holes are there? So I don't have right now answers, because this has to be looked at numerically by considering the recombination rate and all, unless until I prove it to you that the concentration decrease that happens because of the recombination is very less, I won't be able to prove it to you that this assumption is valid. So just give me some time to prove that. I will come back to you I will get back to you in the next session. Okay.
So another 2-3 assumption is also taken. Not only that,
Huh?
we have also taken some other assumptions. Then we have derived that formula.
Yeah, correct.
So
Yeah, he's questioning the assumption. No, that's a very valid assumption. It's always good to question the assumptions, because if we accept it any randomly, then that's not going to help us. Just give me some time. In the next session, I will get back to you. Yeah.
Yes,
There's
sir,
any more
sure.
doubts? Yeah. There's any more doubts? If no doubts, then I will close the session, since we are already past 20 minutes.
no sir.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining the sessions, and sorry for ruining your every Sunday. So apologies for that, and thank you. I hope this session was good for you, and if you have any doubts, then you can come back in the next session. I will get back. I will get back for this doubt. I will come back with an definite answer. Thank you. I'm closing the session.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.